Greetings, everyone. Glenn Kellaway from the basement. It is Wednesday night. Let me get this thing rocking and rolling here. Hope everyone is having a good week so far. It's hump day for all of you guys who work for a living. I wouldn't know anything about that, although I do start my part-time job with the Belleville Senators on Saturday, so I guess that counts. Now we'll see. Sam's not coming on with us tonight. Jason's not coming on with us tonight. Larry Graves might join us. I don't know if he. I think I see him there. Oh, he's waving at me. There he is.
So nobody else is showing up.
You, me, and Rob. I guess when Rob shows up, he's probably putting his son to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Cardboard Head guy's here. Trevor's here. Derek Roberts is here. Whoa. Oh, wow, his mom died. Our condolences, Derek. Hope the light is starting to shine. Can you hear Larry?
Yeah.
Oh.
I can hear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You had a look on your face like you didn't know what was going on.
No, I'm just I sent out the link to my subscribers too. So you should get 2 or 3 more.
Yeah, okay. Right on. Yeah. Well, I noticed that as soon as I had 1,500 subscribers or viewers, and now it's down to 8.
Because I'm on. Thanks.
So thanks for that.
So did you listen to more of the albums I gave you today? Or?
Yes.
Yeah. And is it going to be some good stuff?
You're going to be quite surprised.
Hey.
Is there anything my rankings?
Is there anything you are interested in buying?
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
Why, you selling them?
No. Oh, I ordered
$1 each.
I ordered Steven Wilson's CD.
Oh, yes, I was going to give it to you tomorrow on the exchange, so I won't do that.
Yeah. Oh, you were going to give it to me? The CD?
I was going to lend it to you for the exchange.
Yeah, it's coming tomorrow.
Okay, so I better find something else.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me get this out of the way here. Good evening from Trevor. Good evening. Good evening, Cardboard Head Guy. Always good to see Cardboard Head Guy. Derek, condolences. Hi, Glenn and Studmuff. From who? Stram Tog Fatig.
Stram Tog Fatig. So it just rolls off your tongue.
Derek has discovered a new band, but I don't think they're that new. Hi, guys. Hi, Jack. When's Phil McCracken going to be on? I think he was on today.
Yeah.
I'm into baby metal now. Can't explain something. Just clicked in me. I don't even know what that is. Baby metal. Is that like a bunch of toddlers?
I don't know.
Probably toddlers screaming at the top of their lungs with the dirty diapers. Yeah. Yeah. How about you with the CDs I gave you?
Yep, I've listened to all of them except for one CD. I only had to listen to it 2 times, and I already had. And not that it's bad. It's none of them were bad. But
you only had one you couldn't get into?
No, I wouldn't even say I couldn't get into it. It's just that I knew my review and everything, so I didn't really. I listened to the other ones more.
Okay. Hi, Marcia. Hey, Marcia, do you want to join us tonight? Let me know. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting together with you tomorrow. It's been a while. We've had these CDs for like 2 weeks at least.
Yeah. I listened to the other ones probably at least 5 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
You
listened to mine once.
Yeah. No, I didn't. I did not. I listened to one I only listened to once.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I was like you. I really didn't need to listen to it again.
Yeah.
And it was very familiar once I listened to it once, and I knew some of the songs already. But It was a good batch of I got to say, Larry, when I brought them home, I wasn't that inspired. I thought,
Yeah.
nah, it's a pretty shitty batch. And then I was listening to him go, oh, no, this is a good batch. Like, don't
It's
ever.
funny. You're leaving here sulking, like,
Yeah, it just goes to show, don't ever just
yeah.
close your eyes and your mind, you know? You can't assume that you're not going to like something.
I like that, beer and vinyl. That's a good name.
That's Trevor.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
Marcia,
flat,
just
round,
let me
and
know
spun.
when, and I'll put a
See.
thing up. Yeah. So you got Stephen Wilson coming tomorrow?
Yes, in person.
Wow, very nice. So it's on Amazon now? You can
Yeah.
order it?
The last time I went on, I could get it like the next day or two. So, but it wasn't always like that.
Finally,
right?
they have like domestic release
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, here's Mr. Good Looking himself.
Hey,
Still
Rob.
wearing a Jays hat. He never gave up on the Jays. You got to put the Canadians hat on. Now it's hockey season, buddy.
Oh.
There you go. That's better. That's getting in the groove.
That better?
I got my new hat on.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Man, I was exhausted after coming back from Tulsa. Oh my Lord. 2 flights in 3 days and 4 flights in 3 days. And no sleep. Derek said, 7 years ago you did a baby metal video. Oh, you may not remember.
I don't remember. I'm old.
I still get a kick out of the name Canadian.
So do I.
Muffin. Yeah, we all do. Wyoming. Yeah. I get a kick out of Wyoming Dave. Dave, where are you from?
Wyoming.
Wardrobe change.
Yep.
Trevor, Marcia, how are y'all? Trevor, if you want to come on too, you're more than welcome.
Alex, have you made your first video yet? What are you doing, man?
Where's Alex? Oh, beer and vinyl.
Beer and vinyl.
We could have a good crew tonight.
Alex, I'm going to try and get to the post office tomorrow to send you your Dirty Honey record.
He's from Nebraska, Wyoming. Wyoming Dave's from Nebraska. Why didn't we figure that out? That's funny. What was I going to do? Copy. Since we have no topic tonight, we might as well have a party.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
I've got my lemon water.
Trevor, if you're interested in coming up,
Tim
Alex, if you want to come up, Marcia's going to come on. We could have the 5 of us and shoot the breeze.
Get into an argument.
We're ready to go. What's going on, Rob?
I'm sick.
Again?
Yep.
Is it the kid bringing home stuff from school or what?
That's exactly what it is.
Man.
I feel like 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag.
I was on the plane on Sunday night coming back from Chicago to Toronto, and the people sitting behind me, they had 2 kids right behind me, and the kids weren't babies. They were like, I'm going to say at least 3 years of age. Screamed from the minute they sat down on the plane to the minute the plane landed. And I'm talking screaming like as if they were being stabbed to death. Like it wasn't even just a whiny cry. It was like, both of them.
Jesus.
I had my iPod with me and I had to turn it up like to 10 just so I couldn't hear it.
Yeah.
Freaking brutal.
That sucks. I do have big news. You ready for this?
I'm ready for this.
This is almost as big as your concert stub ticket that you bought. Guess what I bought? You won't
Taylor Swift tickets.
No. It's way better than that.
Better than that.
I got my hands on
Beatle related?
No, it's not even music related. Well, maybe kind of music related. I'm picking it up tomorrow. I got myself a seat from the Rogers Center.
Well, I just saw an article in, if you go to CP24,
yeah,
they dumped the whole pile of them at the dump somewhere north of Toronto.
Yep, they did.
Wow. Is that where you got it from?
Nope. I got
Where
a
did
guy.
you get yours?
I got a guy.
Oh, wow.
I got a guy.
Wow.
When they did the renovations last year and they didn't sell any, I contacted the team and they put me in contact with the guy that runs what they call their authentics department. And he's like, yeah, we have a few seats. If you want one, it's $550. And I'm like, I don't want one that much. He goes, well, there might be more next year when we do the renovation, but I don't know if we're going to save any seats or not. So when I saw that they were, I saw that thing where they dumped them all in the scrap heap, I thought, son of a bitch. So I guess they're not selling when they're not selling them. But I got a guy, and I don't know where my guy got some, but yeah. So I'm picking it up tomorrow. I'm excited.
Very cool. That is cool. What color is it?
Blue. Yeah.
Are they all blue in there? I can't remember.
Yeah. Yeah. So the problem is most of the seats, except for the ones that are on the bottom of the 100 level, all the other seats bolt to the back. They don't have legs on them. So I gotta contact a metal fab shop to build a couple brackets so that I can mount it, because it's going to go right over here in the corner of my office eventually.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah, I'm excited about that little piece of baseball history, and I'm such a huge Jays fan that
Yeah, that's great. That's great. About a couple of years ago, when Lynn and I were shopping for another house, I went into this guy's basement. And he was a bit of a sports nut, and he had a seat from Maple Leaf Gardens there.
Oh, that's cool.
And I made an offer on the house and put in as one of the conditions that I want the seat.
There's my seat.
Oh yeah, cool.
Very cool. That's really cool.
I'm excited.
Well, we got ourselves an Alex.
There he is.
Buddy.
Yeah, Alex.
How's it going? Alex, do you know Larry? Have you guys been on together before?
We have exchanged in the chat, but we've never been on the same video before. Good to see you, Larry.
Good to see you.
Okay, so Sam said he couldn't make it tonight, but here he is.
Yeah.
What did you get a bad haircut or something?
Yeah.
Thanks for the invite, Glenn. I'm just going to spectate while cleaning. Mother-in-law's coming to town in a few days. Oh, we don't need to hear your problems.
Leave the house dirty. She won't stay for quite as long.
That's the old joke. I just got back from a pleasure trip. Drove my mother-in-law to the airport.
Nice.
Hello, all Katy Perry fans.
Yeah, no.
Richard's joining us tonight. Very cool.
Alvin Wazoo.
Wow. Very cool.
I take it he's a Frank Zappa fan.
He is a huge Zappa fan. And very knowledgeable.
He's got a great channel. I just want to let you know. Calvin's got a great channel.
I probably
huge Zappa fan.
Yeah. You ever watched his Zappa? Like, he did a whole thing reviewed every Zappa album. I think
I have seen his channel.
Yeah, it's very cool.
And
Cardboard Head Guy's all excited for Hackneyed Diamonds or whatever it's called.
Nope.
I'm not going to buy it. Larry, you getting it?
No.
Did you see there's 26 different vinyl variants?
Yeah.
For the baseball teams.
Yeah.
They're trying to beat. I bet you McCartney talked him into that.
Who knows?
He did that with McCartney 3, right? Wasn't there
There was a ton of them.
Yeah. I know. That's silly. It's just a way to make more money, right? You get people, you'll get the collectors who got to own all 10 of them or how many there are,
Yeah.
I'm ignoring it for a while. At some point I'm going to listen to it, but it's got to be amazing for me to buy it. Is the Stones vinyl delayed? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised in Canada. Everything gets delayed up here.
So speaking of vinyl delays, I had an Amazon pre-order. Like 2 months ago, I pre-ordered The Darkness Permission to Land. They're doing their 20th anniversary of their first album.
Mm-hmm.
I pre-ordered it on Amazon. Came out last week. And I get a notice from Amazon saying that shipping is delayed. It will ship sometime between the 4th and the 30th of November. Yet when I go on Amazon, the goddamn record's in stock. But they're not shipping my copy. But if I want to buy the one that's in stock, which is exactly the same record,
you got to pay more.
$20 more. I'm like,
it's probably what distributor they used on the pre-order, right?
Pisses me off. I hope I see it at my local and I'll just tell Amazon to stuff it.
That's weird. I've seen people getting their Stones pre-orders already. Wow.
Rob, you didn't get the big box set of it, though, did you?
Oh, well, I was going to. And then I'm like, nah, I don't need it. So I bought the blue one. I'm like, that'll be good enough. And then I got a big commission check, and I'm like, nah, I am going to buy the deluxe box set. And then I bought a seat from the Rogers Center. So the single version will be fine.
What do they charge you for a seat from the Rogers Center? Just a round, but you don't have to. Is it like? Can we guess?
Sure.
I'm going to say $200.
A little more.
3.
Yeah. But when this team was,
well, if we get bored, I could trade you my Dylan ticket for the seat from the Rogers Center.
When the team was selling the few that they had last year for what, 500 or 550, I figured this was an all right deal. And I don't have to pay for shipping because my guy is in the same city that I live in. I just got to drive 5 minutes to pick it up.
Oh, that's cool.
So,
does he work for the construction company that's working at it, or
I don't know what his deal is. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know how he's getting them.
It seems that it isn't a good idea to pre-order on Amazon anymore.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes it's
right.
not. But it's even worse when you order from an artist website. You never get the frickin' thing. You think you should get it first.
I used to pre-order all of the Blue Rodeo albums when they came out. I used to order them from the store. And I would have them. There was one when they came out with, I think it was, what the hell album was it? Might have been Are You Ready? One of their albums from 15 years ago. I had it 2 weeks before the release date.
Wow.
And up until their most recent album, I had them all like at least a week before the release date. And other artists I've ordered from, you pre-order it, thinking, yeah, I'm going to support the artist. And then you see it in your local and you're still waiting for the damn thing. And you're paying for shipping.
You go on Amazon to your order when it's coming and it says, we'll let you know when we have a date.
Yeah.
They didn't even give you the date.
It's frustrating.
Well, now, Glenn, I know you and Larry were talking about Steven Wilson earlier.
Yep.
I waited, and now both of vinyl, I was able to get the orange one, which, who cares, orange or black, but the orange one is $35 now on Amazon, and it'll be here on Friday. And so, awesome. But it didn't hit any. I think maybe one of my local stores got a couple, but I think they're just distribution problems everywhere on that.
Wow. That's great. That album had really weird distribution. I've never seen an album that had a weirder distribution than that one.
Well, it's sort of like the grocery stores. It's like the grocery stores are half empty.
Yeah.
They're not getting the products in.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how much. Well, it shouldn't have anything to do with pressing plants or anything. I know there's a backup producing vinyl, but I ordered a record from Amazon today with a bunch of other stuff with hope that they won't send the record in a plastic bag or just slap a shipping sticker on the shrink. People that say that's happened to them. I've never had Amazon
ever
do anything for me but put it in a box, and it's usually in another box inside a box. Yep. I've never had that issue. Hate ordering from Amazon. I
enjoy Amazon.
Me too.
I love Amazon for everything except records.
No, I had no problem. Christopher, thanks, Glenn, for your top 30 guitarists. Enjoyed your video earlier. Peter Green's one of my favorites. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yes to Peter Green. Yeah, he's amazing. I got these when he was in John Mayall. I got they were playing in a bar back in like 66 or 67, whenever it was. And some guy in Sweden taped the show on whatever gadget he had with him at the time, pretty primitive. And he had this for like 50 years. And then finally he got a hold of somebody and said, I got these historic recordings. And they took it and they did as much as they could to them to fix them up. And they sold them. I got 2 of them. The sound is bootleg quality, but the performance is just like you're just going, oh my God, can that guy play a guitar? Unbelievable. I meant I feel guilty sporting them. I don't know. Thank God for Amazon. I mean, if you live in a small community, you must just freaking love Amazon, eh? Oh, We have a special guest. Hi, Marcia.
Hi, I'm
Hello.
special, huh?
Yes. You know everybody, right? Who don't you know?
I've never talked to Larry. Nice to meet you,
Nice
Larry.
to meet you.
I've had Alex on one of our streams, and then I was on a stream with Rob previously.
There we
Hello,
go.
Marcia.
Nice to see everybody.
My Beatles Love vinyl got shipped in a bag and left on the railing on the front porch.
Oh no, I shouldn't laugh.
Teetering on the railing.
Hi, Richard.
So I ordered from Amazon, and I had moved, and I still had my old address registered. And when I clicked to buy something, I pushed the old address. And then I was like, after a few days, nothing showed up. And I went back and I'm looking, I'm going, oh crap.
Oh
What
no.
I've done. So I contacted them. And at that time you could actually get a hold of a customer service rep. And I told them what they did. And they were nice enough to, even though that package was just lost to them, someone just took it, I'm sure, they resent the order out to me, even though I screwed up at no cost. So that's pretty cool.
I've only ever had one issue with Amazon. And speaking of Richard, I entered a contest on the Gunkles channel and I won a gift card from Amazon. I ordered a record from them and it came in a very thin cardboard mailer. And as I'm walking up the sidewalk to my door, I can see the package like this. So, I said I wanted a refund and they immediately sent another one out to me. They made it right. No problem.
The cool thing I noticed in Florida when you do returns is there's those Amazon pickup areas all over town.
Yeah.
We don't have those here, do we, guys?
No.
Yeah, they like when you go to return something, you look up and they give you like 10 different locations in Orlando where you can take it, and there's usually one within a 2-minute drive of you or a 5.
I go to Whole Foods down the street.
Stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, I go to Kohl's, which is right down the street from me.
Yeah, which is really cool. And then you don't have to do anything but show up with the label and just hand it to them, and they just take it off your hands. You don't have to fart around.
You don't have to print anything off. You don't have to bring a box, nothing.
No,
it's
yeah,
great.
it's really cool.
And they usually give you like a 25% off coupon or $5 off. I never buy anything at Kohl's, but I usually give it to somebody in line.
Well, Kohl's in Canada is a bookstore.
We don't even have Kohl's anymore, do we?
No, that's now Indigo and Chapters.
Yeah.
I'm sure Alex knows what I'm talking about.
Neil Young worked in a Kohl's store at Young and Wellesley.
Speaking of Neil Young, us Americans got to stick together with the Kohl's.
Neil Young showed up at my buddy's record store, Zap Records in Coburg, on Thanksgiving Saturday.
Did he find any bootleg albums there?
No.
Good.
Yeah, I think Neil would like.
So the record store clerk didn't get a whole diatribe, huh?
Yeah. But he said he was really cool, but wouldn't take picture. So what else is going on, guys? Anybody buy anything new or?
Yes, I just came back from your favorite place about an hour ago, and I picked
Bright
up
Light Books or Park Avenue.
Park Avenue. So I got the Sonics.
Oh, cool.
This is a 98 repress.
I had one of their one on CD. I don't know.
I only got 2 things today. Sonics Boom.
Very cool.
And then, is Sam not joining us tonight?
No, his hair's all frizzy.
His hair isn't working out.
Yeah.
That's a shame. I understand.
Down, it's sticking straight up.
I understand it though, living in Florida. My hair's frizzy a lot.
Mine too. Oh, look at that Tom Petty album.
Yeah. So that's what I got today. This is why I asked if Sam was going to be in.
Is that their second album?
Yes, I believe so. Sam would be sure to be able to tell us, but I think so.
That's very cool.
And this one, I didn't check the labels. Yeah, it's on MCA. So this might be their third.
Damn the Torpedoes is first, right?
No, Damn the Torpedoes is before this one. So this is the third.
What's
Is
their
this-
first one?
I think that's their second, isn't it?
This 1978. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Just ignore everything I said.
Okay.
This is 1978. Damn the Torpedoes is 1979.
Yeah. I think that's their second album.
Rob, question for you.
Absolutely.
Well, what do you mean Taylor's version? Right? I thought she did an album called 1989.
Right?
Yeah,
And
she's
why-
redoing it.
She's re-recording her first 6 albums, so they're called. When she re-records them, she records them as 1989 Taylor's version, and it comes out next week, I think.
What's she doing that for?
Because, long story short, she left Big Machine Records, and that was purchased by Scooter Braun, who was Justin Bieber's guy. And there was some dispute. She owns the publishing rights, but she doesn't own the masters. And she allegedly was never given the opportunity to buy her masters. So she said, "Screw you guys." So she's re-recording all the albums she recorded when she was under contract to Big Machine. So she owns the publishing rights to both versions, and she owns the masters to the new version. And all of the Swifties, myself included, rush out and buy the new version of the album. And truthfully, the new version of the album is of the one she's done so far are vastly superior to the originals.
She
So.
changes the arrangements or just changes the instrumentation or something?
No, they're nearly identical, but it's much higher production quality, and her vocals as a 33-year-old versus a 19-year-old is not even in the same ballpark. She's such a better singer now.
I mean, I know people can't stand her, but I respect the hell out of her
Yeah.
for
I
taking
love her.
control of her career like that.
How can you not appreciate what she's accomplished? Like,
Even if you don't like her music, which I could see why a lot of people don't, and that's fine.
she's a
Look at
freaking
all-
monster.
Look what she's done to music. Look at artist rights, and look at what she's done to bring new people into music. Look at all the young people that are at her concerts.
And getting people to
Look what
vote.
she does
I
to
mean, she's
rock.
doing anything. Lots of stuff.
Yeah.
Look what she She does a lot of things to me that we really probably
Don't look
shouldn't talk
too
about.
closely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look what she's done for the NFL. Look how many people are watching the Kansas City Chiefs now.
Now, I will say I am tired of seeing headlines on my news feed every other day. Not even every other day, every other hour of those two. I
Yeah.
really don't
But
care about her love life.
But
I
it's going
don't
to be a
either. That's
great
what bugs
album
me.
once they break up. I'm just saying.
There
I
you
can't
go.
even watch a Chiefs game because I don't want to watch. They show her every 2 seconds. I want to watch the football game.
I mean, I can't say that I blame her for dating around. I mean, she's tall, thin, beautiful, and rich. She
But
should
here-
be dating
think-
all the
think
guys
about-
she wants.
Everyone talks about her being a serial dater or a man eater or whatever, but consider this. She's arguably the most famous person on the planet. I don't think that's an unfair assessment.
Well,
And-
Larry.
Except
well, other
Larry.
than Larry,
Okay.
Thank you.
she's got a meticulous public image. It's a whole machine. Can you imagine being the guy that has to play second fiddle to all of that, plus be under the public microscope as her partner? I can
As-
understand why not a lot of her relationships last. I mean, that's a hell of a lot to ask of a partner.
I always thought I would make a good partner for somebody famous because I could give a crap. I would just be happy sitting on the couch at home and you go out on the road and do whatever you want. Just I'm on the couch, listen to tunes.
I mean,
I'll
truthfully,
answer the
Rob, I
phone
think
and answer your mail for you. I don't care.
as a 33-year-old, never married, forever single person, I think that is why her and Joe lasted as long as they did. Was
Maybe.
because he was, at least to Americans, like essentially a nobody. But now it's like she's dating arguably one of the best, if not the best, NFL player in the league.
Oh, is he? I don't know anything about the NFL.
Yeah.
But he's also from Northeast Ohio, so it's like, he's from
Oh,
around the
okay.
same parts. So
He's
I
representing.
still don't
right?
like it. But
I don't know the first thing about him.
No.
I never heard his name until he and her started appearing in my news feed on Google constantly. And every time I click the X and say this is not relevant to my interests, I still just keep getting the articles. I don't know. I really don't care about anybody who's famous with respect to their dating life. It makes no difference.
Well, you know what's all over the screen
all.
now everywhere I turn to look? It's Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith. Like,
Who cares?
Those two I don't care about either.
No,
I don't care about any celebrity relationships.
They're making headlines every day now. It's driving me nuts.
Well, and then so is Britney with her autobiography being released. And that's why Jada Pinkett Smith is in the news, because she's got a book coming out too.
Tom Petty's second album is a live album. One for the World. I didn't know that, Roy.
I mean, I suppose I could look on All Music.
So his second studio album, though. Live albums would never count.
Says you.
Well, I mean, they count, but I don't count them as like you kind of count studio albums, and live albums usually have the tracks from the studio albums on them. So that's all I meant. They're kind of a separate entity. What album you want to be the next Taylor version?
It's probably going to be Reputation by all indications, and an album I'm not a fan of, but whatever.
I did get one new CD, Glenn.
What'd you get?
Yeah, this is with our CD exchange with Glenn. It's one of the albums he gave me, and it's the craziest album I've ever heard. But I loved it.
Are you guys heard that album?
The other one, Mountain Climbing, for our CD exchange tomorrow. Tears for Fears. Finally heard that. I've never heard this until this week.
Really?
Yeah.
You're joking.
I'm not joking.
Isn't that weird?
Is that
the Chains?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was a strong round.
It was.
Yeah.
So is that the Mobile Fidelity CD?
Yeah, it's the Mobile Fidelity SACD.
So do you mean you've never heard the Mobile Fidelity, or you've just never heard?
I've never heard the full album. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm shocked.
You know, some of it, but
me too. Yeah, it's like saying you've never heard Abbey Road.
Right.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I'd put it on that level, but it is very surprising.
Yeah. Well, Larry lives a sheltered life.
Well, wasn't it kind of a failure when it was originally released?
Yeah, I never bought it when it was released.
You know what I think? For me, what was the name Derek and the Dominoes? Like, I don't. In those days, nothing. You know, there was no internet.
Yeah, and that cover doesn't
release. Came out called Derek and the Dominoes. You don't know that's Eric Clapton.
Yeah.
I think that was the point.
Probably.
So you've listened to all of those, Larry?
Yeah, we're getting together tomorrow, and we're going to review and rank what we gave each other.
See, Richard knows live albums don't count as part of the catalog. Well, they are part of the catalog, but they're
they're separate from studio albums.
That's what I'm trying to get off my case.
So yeah,
as usual, I disagree with you, Glenn.
This is the second release. The first one is the self-titled, and then Damn the Torpedoes and Hard Promises. And as somebody who lived in Gainesville, although briefly, I should be ashamed of myself that I didn't know it.
Yes, you should be.
It's almost as bad as not hearing Layla before.
Well, I've heard that. I've heard some of the songs from the album.
Layla and Other Assorted Love Songs, whatever the hell the album's called.
I discovered that Can album on a Steve Hoffman forum thread. Someone said, rank these iconic double albums. And it was every album that you would think would be on there, like Physical Graffiti and Exile on Main Street and whatever, all the classic double albums. And then the 10th one listed was Can. I'm going, this is a classic album. I've never freaking heard of these guys.
Yeah, we had this discussion when you were in Orlando, because when I took you to Foundation, the tiny little record store, they had it on the wall.
That's right.
Those guys are big into krautrock.
Yeah, I don't know, and I can't figure out if I like it or not. Great Can album, and Mountain Climbing is tremendous as well. Amazon, a lot easier now than it was in Mexico. Layla is a great guitar album, one of the best. It absolutely.
I mean, I love that album because of Duane Allman.
Yeah, well, that's kind of yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Derek and the Dominoes came about through Delaney and Bonnie and
Mhm.
friends, and George's All Things Must Pass. Between the two of them, those guys all formed it. Bobby Whitlock and all those guys.
Yeah, I have his album.
I'd love to get his album.
I got that at Park Avenue CDs for $15.
Is it any good?
It's uneven.
Really?
The
He's got such
packaging
a
is
great
great. Give me a second, I'll
voice.
grab it.
He's got such a great voice.
I know.
Favorite Beatles B-side.
Old Brown Shoe.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, I got this used. Some of the songs are really great, and then some of them are not. And it's basically all the same players except for George Harrison. And
What year was that? Do you know?
this is right around the same time. He goes. This is very nice packaging. It's got the big long article, you know, and it goes into it. I'll be here forever if I have to read it. But it's right around the same time. I guess somebody came to him with a proposition of releasing it again because it was kind of like the missing piece between the trilogy of like All Things Must Pass and Layla.
Oh, okay.
Because he dated one of the Boyd sisters. That's her right there.
Oh, he was with Patty Boyd's sister?
Youngest sister, yeah.
Oh.
So, Patty Boyd's sister was married to Mick Fleetwood.
Yeah. He had a YouTube channel for a while.
Yeah, during COVID.
And I thought he kind of embarrassed himself when the George Harrison All Things Must Pass remix came out. He was really slamming a bit and
Really
being a bit of a dick, I thought.
I mean, he's married to Delaney Bramlett's ex-wife.
Oh, wow. Not Bonnie Bramlett, though.
No. His second or third wife.
Yeah.
Her name is Carmen.
Yeah, third, fourth, fifth wife.
So yeah, but this is, like I said, this is really lovely packaging on this. But
anybody else want to take a shot at the Beatles B-side? I agree with Larry. I like Old Brown Shoe.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could go with Yes It Is.
That's what I get answered in the comments.
Revolution isn't bad.
Revolution. There's so many great B-sides. Yeah. You Know My Name. Look up the number.
Oh yeah, that one. Don't Let Me Down.
Don't Let Me Down was that a double A side or was that a B side?
That was on Let It Be, wasn't it?
Yeah,
no. I think so.
Yeah.
I Am the
One.
Walrus.
Get Back. What's it? Get Back.
So.
It was the B side of Get Back.
Yeah.
It was something off of Let It Be, some sort of release.
There we go. Michael Nolan's with it.
Michael Nolan's in the house.
Favorite Beatles side. You Know My Name. Look up the number. That's Paul's favorite Beatle cut as well. Yeah, that's awesome.
It was a bit of a shock hearing it the very first time, though.
Yeah, it was weird. And Brian Jones plays saxophone on that.
Yeah.
Song. Petty was offered the key to the city in Gainesville, and since they were such pricks to him growing up, he refused it. If you didn't know how cool he was.
Hey, Matt, how you doing?
Yeah.
I know there's a park named after him now.
Is there?
There's a city park in Gainesville with like a statue of him, and it's named after him.
Well, they should do something. But there's a few people from Gainesville, though, right?
Yeah, Bernie Ledden.
Yeah.
From Gainesville.
Where were the Allman Brothers from?
Daytona and Jacksonville and Miami. I think they basically lived all up and down I-95.
Yeah.
And then who else? Somebody
wasn't Leonard Skinner? Don't they call Gainesville?
They're Jacksonville. Mike Campbell is from Pensacola, but then came to Gainesville. Somebody else is from there too, and I'm totally.
Where's Dickie Betts from the Allman Brothers? Was he?
I think he might be the one from Georgia, but I could be wrong.
I know he lives in Florida.
I'm not really sure how they all ended up in Georgia.
And Derek Trucks is in Jacksonville. Derek and
and Susan Tedeschi, they're in Jacksonville. Yeah.
Because they always go to the Jacksonville football games. You always see them on their Instagram. They tailgate.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. They go tailgate with Derek and Susan. That would be pretty cool. What else? No one's got any more stuff coming in? Nothing? Nobody bought anything? Jeez, you guys. You're too cheap. I'm trying to save money to buy a Dylan ticket for Massey Hall. Oh, my God.
How many days?
Pardon me?
How many days?
It's the 26th.
Okay, so we're counting down next week.
Yeah, a week tomorrow. It's a show. And
so are
the
you
cheapest seat I can find is the last row in Massey Hall, the third level, third balcony. I mean, every seat in Massey Hall is good, but still, I don't want to sit there. $300.
Wow. That's
I'm willing to spend $300, but I need a better seat than that.
Don Felder is from Gainesville. That's who else I was
Oh, that's right. That's right. Did you ever read anybody ever read Don Felder's book? It's fantastic. One of the best music books I ever read.
Oh, and Benmont Tench.
Benmont Tench, another one.
Sam would be so upset with me for forgetting that.
An interesting topic. Name an album from the 60s that you didn't like when released and love it now.
Wow.
I'm trying to think one off the top of my head. That's a good question. Richard, I don't go to big venues anymore. I've been going to small gigs, going to one night to see a band from Singapore. Yeah, I agree with you. I would rather go to a small venue, but Massey Hall, I mean,
it's nice.
500 people. Yeah. I consider anything that and smaller still somewhat of a small venue. Yeah, an album from the 60s that I didn't like.
Yeah. There weren't too many bad albums in the 60s.
Did any of the Yes albums come out in the 60s?
No.
They were all 70? I don't know.
Well, I wasn't around in the 60s to not like any albums.
Nor was I.
So I'll take myself out of the conversation. I didn't come around until, 2 years later after the 60s ended.
I didn't like Bob's last two albums of the 60s till 2019. Oh, wow. Okay. So, John Wesley Harding's one of my favorite Dylan albums. And what else came up?
Nashville Skyline.
Nashville Skyline would have been the only other one. I love both those albums.
Uh-oh.
Up. Is that your landline, Glenn?
Yeah, it's my daughter. That's my landline. Yeah.
What's a landline?
Yeah, what's a landline?
I don't know. I still have one.
I got one right here.
Whoa.
Ugh.
Yeah, me too. I was not a Monkees fan until much later, so that my 60s records I grew to like later. Wow, I was a huge Monkees fan from day one.
That was my first favorite band.
I still don't get why people like them.
Oh,
Great songs.
Great. You like pop music. How can you not like them?
I just don't. They're fine, but I don't see what the hype is about.
have you ever watched the TV show?
I've seen every single episode.
Oh, wow. See, I think because I fell in love with them watching the reruns when I was a kid in the early 70s. So, my mom
music is timeless. Like, it's so good. It's such a great.
I'm not saying I don't like them. Like, there's some great songs. I just don't see everyone raves about how they're the friggin' greatest thing out. I just don't get it.
Well,
they're just fun.
They're fun. I get it. I just don't.
Yeah, but you don't like the Beatles or the Stones?
Oh, for God's sakes, Glenn. Jesus. Let it go, man.
I mean, John Lennon loved the Monkees.
Yeah. They all hung out.
I'm not saying I didn't like them. I'm just saying I don't see why they're as revered as they are. That's all.
Yeah, I think Mike Nesmith was in the studio when they were recording some of Sgt. Pepper's.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's if you read Mike's book called Infinite Tuesdays, he talks about staying at John's house when they were recording Sgt. Pepper, and John would come home with the tapes and say, yeah, listen to this, what we were doing today. And Michael Ness just going, holy crap. Like, can you imagine?
I mean, that's how big they were at the time. If you're in the studio with the Beatles when they're making Sgt. Pepper's. You're not small potatoes.
Yeah. Album I didn't like but do now, Taking It to the Streets. Love it now, but I was just Tom Johnson. Michael, I don't mind the singles that Michael McDonald was a part of the Doobie Brothers, but I can't stand that guy. I don't. Have you ever heard like the album he did of Motown covers? It's just the worst album I've ever heard in my life.
And who's getting the Dark Side of the Moon Redux?
What would you rather listen to, the new Rolling Stones album or the Roger Waters Dark Side album?
The new Stones album.
Yeah.
And I say that not unenthusiastically. I say that very middle of the road.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. I'm not excited about either one. Monkees are my brother's favorite band. They have been his favorite since the mid 80s. Some of Deep Purple's 60s albums.
That's a good answer.
I know. I love those Deep Purple albums. They're my favorites, the first three. Dark Side Redux, never. Yeah, that's like, let's go to the Louvre Museum in Paris and paint over the Mona Lisa, and maybe we'll just put some lipstick on her or something.
Yeah, put her in a modern hairstyle.
Yeah,
not quite the same.
So
Larry, I got to tell you, Larry gave me one of the albums he gave me for the exchange. I'll let the cat out of the bag for tomorrow. It's called Ram. What's it called? Ram On or Ram?
I think Ram On, yeah, something like that.
And it's a bunch of people doing the Ram album in its entirety, and a different artist. And I've never heard of any of the artists. The most famous to me is Carney Wilson, or was that her name?
And the drummer, Denny Sewell.
Oh yeah, the drummer.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't know Denny Sewell if he knocked on my door.
So Larry showed us.
But it's a weird. It's not. It's just a waste of time.
So show us what Larry gave you to listen to.
Yeah, Glenn.
Larry showed us
hold
what
on.
you gave him.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Okay. So Alex, any closer to making the first video?
Well, I told Rob earlier. I got some VCLT coming. I think that's what the kids call it. And so once I get that, then that'll be my first video.
All right, so I have to get to the post office tomorrow.
Well, I'm not saying that it all rides on you, but that's what I'm saying.
Well,
so that's where the VCLT is coming from.
I got a mailer right here. I'll throw the record in when we're done.
What is it? That's Vinyl Community Love Triangle. Is that what that is?
Love Train.
It was a joke. Love Triangle.
Love Triangle.
Nailed it.
So that's if you send an album to two people and they send you one.
Yeah.
Over my head, I wasn't quick enough to get it.
Okay.
I'm sick.
The album that I was just talking about, Ram On, the 50th anniversary tribute to Paul and Linda McCartney's Ram album.
Okay, so that's a rather recent release then.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of stupid. Not that the songs aren't well done, but
so
it's just,
who's on it besides Carney Wilson?
The original drummer, Denny Sewell, that was on the original Ram. And then
okay, so the first guy on it is Dan Rothschild. The Dirty Diamond and Dirge McBroom. Pat Sansoni. Adrian Bourgeois.
I don't know any of these people.
Timmy Sean. Dead Rock West.
Oh, Dead Rock West.
Bentley Gore.
Bentley.
I'm starting to think these
Michaels,
people aren't real.
Larry, how did you end up with that?
Oh my God.
They're actually all aliases. They're all just fake
That must
names.
have been from Value Village. Okay. We'll discuss that tomorrow. I know this isn't everybody's cup of tea, but Captain Beefheart.
Oh, it is not mine.
The Spotlight Kid.
But I'm not surprised that you.
But that stuff's so much different.
Weird one.
No, that's not weird. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Duckstad, The Residents.
Oh, we were just talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I know Trevor's a fan.
Yep.
The Undertones,
Yeah.
Positive Touch. They're from Ireland, right?
Yep.
I like their first album is really, really good.
And here's a good pop one. Three Dog Night, suitable for framing.
Yep.
So, like I said, when I was leaving out at Larry's house when he gave me these, I was going, "What a bunch of crap!" How am I going to get through these? But Larry and I have both learned from doing the CD exchange over the past year or two that don't close your ears and don't assume, because all of us you think you're not going to like it, but.
So do you do this once a month,
surprised.
or every other week, or every 6 weeks?
About every 2 weeks.
Yeah, every week to 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's a really nice little ritual to have.
Yeah. Oh, we both turned each other on to so many great records.
Yeah.
We both bought albums because of doing the CD exchange.
Yeah, it's been very, very rewarding.
That's I would like that. I would like to have a friend near me would do something like that.
Well, if you do it, you have to credit us.
If I find a friend who's interested in music in the Central Florida area,
we could do one online and just make sure
That'd
it's on Spotify. And
we've done that before. Yeah,
we did it before. If you want to start,
we give each other an album and just listen to it on Spotify. And
right.
Yeah, and then come back and review it. Let's set something up. Anybody who wants to get involved. Yeah. I would do that. Exactly, Glenn. Good call. I don't know what I did, but thanks, Michael. Re-recordings almost.
For Dark Side of the Moon Redux.
Duck Stab.
Yeah.
We're all excited. I saw the Residents a month ago here in Chicago.
Oh, wow. Really?
How old is this band?
They're from the 70s.
Yeah, they started in the late 70s, I believe, or mid to late 70s.
Yeah.
So there's one album cover that looks like the Beatles cover.
Yeah, that's their first one.
Okay. Is that good too?
I've only listened to it once. I don't know if you'd like it. It's called Meet the Residents.
It's noise.
Yeah.
It's noise rock.
I got to listen to it more though.
It's not my kind of stuff.
I knew Trevor would like that. For me, it's definitely Grateful Dead. Love the band, even though I had Anthem of the Sun in '68. Yeah, you know what? I got to say, I wasn't a big Dead fan in the '60s either. So, big one now. Meet the Residents is a great debut. There we go. Richard's a fan. I figured if you're into Zappa, you'd like the Residents.
Yeah, it's all kind of experimental, isn't it?
It's kind of just a bit, yeah. It takes like you really got to kind of have an open mind. Let me say that. That's very cool.
It helps if you have some tomato soup while listening to it.
That's right. Yeah, a big
and tomato soup is legal here in Ontario.
It is. There's tomato soup stores on every corner has a tomato soup store.
Is tomato soup supposed to be a stand-in for something else?
What are you insinuating?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand why tomato soup wouldn't be legal. So I'm confused. This has got to be some sort of like Frank Zappa thing.
So Music Talk with John has joined us now.
Oh no,
hey, John, Billy Joel can't sing. Do you remember when he came on the chat on Sunday night on Steve's channel, and the only comment he made was Bob Dylan can't sing?
Yes.
Yeah. So I went on his video today. He was going about his Billy Joel video, and I just put a comment: Billy Joel can't sing.
Oh, the concert tickets.
And then he took it all seriously, and he goes, "Well, Billy Joel can sing. Elton's can." He didn't even get my.
I watched your 250 guitarists video, and I 1,000% agree with you, Glenn. There is no Bowie without Ronson.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know if Bowie would have made it without him.
I don't think so either.
I mean, as much as Bowie's a freaking genius, I don't know if he didn't have that band with him, I don't know if it would have caught on.
Have that as his launch off.
Yeah. Yeah. It might have been a different career. If you're open to new sounds, have you checked out Coil? Larry, you ever heard those guys?
No.
I think we need to. I'm writing it down. Wow, the Residents started in 71. I'm writing down Coil. Thanks, Richard. Did anybody else check out that guitar list on Rolling Stone?
Some of it, yeah.
I started to, but then I lost interest in
It's
it.
like, who cares what they think?
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, those lists are just generated to create outrage so that people will go to the website and read it.
yeah.
I don't care if you think Vernon Reid is the best guitar player ever. It's your opinion. But when they start putting people on the list, like there was one guy at number 9, I've never heard of him before. And then or number 9 or 10. And then
was that Eddie
he
Hazel?
was the guy who played guitar on the Maggot Brain album.
Glenn, if you've not heard Maggot Brain,
I owned it.
Implore you. Oh, it's such a beautiful piece of music.
But how can you be one of the greatest guitar players in the world ever when you were on one album?
No, he did other stuff for George Clinton, and he has his own album out. Yeah.
Oh, never heard of the guy.
I mean, he definitely was sort of a drug casualty, but yeah, he did other things.
But to be fair, to play devil's advocate, Glenn, your favorites both died at 27 or younger.
Yeah, but yeah.
Not all. But no, I don't say that to be a jerk, I promise. But I do think it is
Allman's resume on a Wikipedia page. He's done more than most guitar players have done who are still alive and have been playing for 50 years.
Oh, I totally agree with that. But it is like so fast, like the list. I guess the Marshall's point too of like all of those lists, whether it's guitarists or they've done singers, they've done albums, they've done all these, like everything has become. I try to empathize as much as I can. I don't think the classic rock fan is their demographic anymore.
Yeah, no.
It can't be.
My list, I didn't put a lot of classic rock. I went back to Django Reinhardt and
yeah, you did.
You know.
I noticed. Here's the thing with like the Rolling Stone list is for the longest time it was so classic rock heavy, and people would complain. These are lists made for white old guys.
Yeah.
So then they switched it up, and then all the old white guys started complaining that there's not enough albums in there from old white guys.
Get off my lawn.
And I say this as somebody who always listened to Rolling Stone, so I like a lot of music that old white guys like.
No, that's true. That's true.
You know, so music is always evolving, and some of these things that people say, like this person isn't so good at their craft or whatever, they may have probably inspired other artists too.
That's always my question. And they might have, I didn't read the article, but they might have gone into it of like, before we say best or greatest, like, I don't know what the rubric is for that. Like, is that based on,
the problem is it's so subjective, right?
Right. I mean, is it based on technical skill and ability?
I would
Probably
say
not.
I would say mostly.
Maybe, but obviously,
but technical skill
how
doesn't make you
influential you were, and skill and technical ability. I would say that those.
I couldn't disagree more. Technical ability doesn't mean you're a good guitar player. Guitar player is not about technical; it's about feel.
Well, no, that's part of it too. Yeah, I agree with that too. It's all one path. I mean, there's probably 5 different things.
It's all pointless.
To make a great musician.
Yeah, if
the reason they make the article is so people that click it and read it.
Yeah,
that's
it. But you know who the best guitarist is that wasn't mentioned, that you didn't mention, Glenn, and Marcia didn't mention, is Lou Reed in his album Berlin. Marcia, have you ever heard this record?
I have.
Glenn is a huge.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Glenn, have you ever heard Lou Reed ripping a solo? It's like
I have all his albums. I love.
He's on the list of the top guitarists.
You know what's funny though is that a lot of people would look at Lou Reed on the list and laugh at that he would be on the list, but those same people wouldn't laugh at Kurt Cobain being on the list.
Well, no, I thought Kurt Cobain on the list was laughable.
Have you seen that Dweezil Zappa though was really putting down Lou Reed's guitar playing?
Well, good.
video.
Good.
And I think Lou Reed's a great, he's got his own.
I think Lou Reed is the most
untalented what did you say?
human being that ever made a record.
Oh no.
Well,
Oh, jeez.
if I may, didn't Frank Zappa hate Lou Reed?
Yeah.
Well,
it's my understanding those
supposedly.
two did not get along at all. So that may be where some of Dweezil Zappa's feelings are coming from. However, Frank Zappa or Lou Reed did induct Frank Zappa into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because over the years he had realized, Lou Reed did, Frank Zappa stood up to the PRMC or whatever, the parents' record thing. And that's something that I myself should have underdone. And I respect him for that. And he's right. So, but yeah, that's my understanding, is that those two did not get along because Frank Zappa was a big anti-drug guy.
Yeah. I just can't get Lou Reed. I can't listen.
But it was
Walk on the Wild Side's the only song I can listen to.
Well, I would say, and there's. Oh, go ahead, Marcia.
I brought up I liked Lou Reed, New York, and you said, "Wait, I do like that."
That was an album I bought when it came out because I wanted to kind of try and get into Lou Reed, and I didn't mind it, but I don't own it today.
But
I like that
to
album.
me, on the Lou Reed thing, and I'm really using this as an opportunity to become better friends with Larry. I just want to let the people know that that's what this is really all about. The two things. A, I think I think when we look at Lou Reed, he should probably fall in like the singer-songwriter category, not necessarily in like the guitarists category. Yeah. Secondly, and maybe this would be a video idea. I'm full of video ideas. I just
you should make one.
I should. Should I make one, Rob? I've joked about this before. Like, I think there's plenty of artists, I would say, maybe for all of us, they're not guilty pleasures. They're not any of these things. There's these ideas of like, I have no real reason, truthfully, to like this artist, but I do. I just do. And I think specifically in like Lou Reed and by extension, the Velvet Underground too, like it's not like any of those records are sonic masterpieces of virtuoso playing. But, you look at the influence, you look at where they went, you look at all those different aspects of it. And there are elements there that it's interesting because I view those records with a different type of scale than I view a lot of other types of records.
Mm-hmm. But you
Who
also
exactly did the Velvet Underground influence?
A lot of bands.
Well, name
David
one.
Bowie was a huge fan of Velvet Underground.
Yeah, but he doesn't sound like the Velvet Underground.
So
he might have liked them, but I don't hear any.
New York Dolls were inspired by Lou Reed.
Yeah, but I don't care.
Well, that's all that matters.
But anyway, Alex also showed that album because I had said some things about it on the stream a couple of weeks ago, how I did not like it. And and the main reason I don't like Berlin is because it has screaming, crying children on it. And I don't like children in any of my rock music.
But do you know the story there, Marcia? Do you know the story?
Where he told those kids their mother had died.
No, that's the rumor of what.
That's the rumor. Okay.
That's like the sexy story. Really, they just like
that's the sexy story.
That's the sexy story. That's like the story that everybody says because they're like, "Oh my gosh, that's so edgy." I think in reality, he just took away their candy, which isn't good either.
Well, if you grew up in a house like I did with a hippie mother who didn't allow you to have candy and you got your hands on some and then it was taken away from you, you would definitely be crying.
I've shared the story before about my hippie mother is the reason I didn't like the Grateful Dead growing up.
Oh yeah, your mom would play Sugar Magnolia, was it?
Look, between that, I still have nightmares that wake me up 4 a.m. I'm in a sweat. I'm shaking. I don't know what's going on, and I just see visions of my mom dancing to Truckin'. I can't do it, Marcia. I just can't do it.
Oh, well, my hippie mom didn't like Grateful Dead. My hippie mom was definitely more into folk music and wanted us to eat carob. Ugh. That's the real crime, carob.
Richard, I'm looking forward to that. I watch. I know Marcia's a big fan too of the Gunkles page. I'm looking forward to your list on Lou Reed stuff.
Yeah, Richard, when are you guys doing a live stream again? Because the Gunkles have the best live streams.
They did have a good live stream.
I like all the drinking and the insanity that follows it.
That is a great trio band. Crimson Fripp, Bruford, and Wetton.
They had others, though. They did have others.
Oh, like no tomato soup. See,
I don't understand the tomato soup.
Campbell's or Heinz. Yes, and it's another bullshit list. There we go. Yeah, we're done. Richard, we're coal on wax tracks. At least Rolling Stone's got number 1, right? My Spotify subscription lets me able to download audiobooks. There's some great music books I'm now able to listen to.
Oh. Do you have to pay for those or pay extra for those? Or is it just the regular Spotify membership? Because if that's the case, I might switch on over.
Yeah, I've never looked for audiobooks on there. I don't like listening to books. I gotta read the damn thing.
Well, I like listening to them at work.
I guess, yeah, there'd be times, but then I'd have a hard time concentrating.
If you had my job, it would not impair your concentration.
I would have much. Are you a mattress tester or something? Like,
no, I review documents, insurance documents. You need something to keep you awake if you are reviewing insurance documents.
So there's a Mind Games box set coming out.
That's
I
coming
wonder
out
if Yoko
now.
will allow a Walls and Bridges box set, because Yoko and John were split
Oh, yeah.
at that time, right? So she might skip that one. Although
Well, I don't know. I think she wants the money.
That's one of my favorite John Lennon albums. It's Coil. Old white guys yell at clouds. Get off of my cloud. Is that what it? When the audience go, the older albums won't mean as much to them as time goes on.
See, I think when the audience gets older, the older albums mean as much to the older audience.
When the audience gets older, so you embrace the older albums more as you get older?
I think people do.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, how many people you know who are like, I don't know, in their 60s or something, who say there's no good music coming out these days.
All the
They
time.
get stuck on. You hear that so often, and it's just not true.
You hear people in their 40s say that too.
It's ridiculous.
And people have been saying it since the beginning of time.
I just picked up Rihanna Giddens. She's really talented. Yes,
Yeah.
I am a fan.
I need to get deeper into her stuff.
Yeah, she's awesome. Steve Wagner kind of saved Lou Reed the way Mick Ronson boosted David Bowie. Was he was Steve
guitarist.
Wagner? He was a guitarist?
In the live shows, yep.
But Mick Ronson,
someone just said that Lou Reed was one of the greatest guitar players ever. Why did he need Steve Wagner?
so if you watch the Mick Ronson documentary, he talks about how, because he produced Transformer with Bowie, and he talks about how he'd have to tune up Lou Reed's guitar all the goddamn time because Lou Reed was totally out of it. So he'd or turn the guitar and give it to him, and then Lou Reed would be like, okay. And so the way that, and Mick Ronson is a very laid back person.
Where can you watch that documentary on Mick Ronson?
I think you can find it on Amazon. I've got the soundtrack to it, and it's great.
Really? There's a soundtrack too?
Yeah. I'll pull it out.
I would love to. I'm dying to see that documentary. Have you seen that, Larry?
No.
It's supposed to be really good. Younger people won't think the same about older albums. Yeah, I agree with that. It takes a lot to go back and discover things you're not familiar with.
I had to get through all the Rolling Stones to get to it. This is it.
Oh, I've never seen that album.
Beside Bowie, the Mick Ronson story, the soundtrack.
So is it just a comp of from all his albums and stuff, or?
It's a compilation of a bunch of different stuff. But what I don't like is that it's a gatefold, but it's the same picture that's on the cover.
Oh.
And
look
he's
that
so
album.
handsome. I don't know why they just wouldn't have put more pictures in here of like all the artists that he worked with, like Dylan and Lou Reed and Morrissey.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff on here with Ian Hunter, and then they have his version with Elton John and Madman Across the Water.
Really?
Yeah, and it's just as good as the one that did eventually end up on the album, but it is different. I can see why they didn't go with his. And then it's got Moon Age Daydream, Cracked Actor, Time, which those are all great. And then Once Bitten, Twice Shy with Ian Hunter. And then they have some of his songs from later in life. I'd Give Anything to See You, Hard Life, Midnight Love. He's got a version of Like a Rolling Stone with David Bowie. And then they have the Heroes version that he did at the Freddie Mercury concert with David Bowie, right before the year before he died himself. And then there's a couple of songs on here from Joe Elliott, because Joe Elliott from Def Leppard, Alex loves, is a big Mick Ronson, big Mott the Hoople fan. And then there's Mike Garson tribute to Mick Ronson. It's an instrumental song. But this is, I think I got this off of Discogs for like $14 brand new, maybe a year ago.
Really? I didn't even know it was out.
Yeah.
I'm dying to see the documentary. I'll have to look on Amazon Prime and see if it's there.
It's called Beside Bowie.
Okay. Wow, excellent. I'm going to look for that album.
But I mean, he worked with so many people. One of my favorite albums, Ellen Foley, Night Out. He produced that with Ian Hunter. That's a great album. That's why there's a lot on here, but there is a lot missing. Like there's none of the stuff.
Mick Ronson recorded with Sparks.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did. It's not never been released, but yeah, he recorded with them.
They just never was like an outtake. They just never decided to use his session work.
No, they were just doing demos or whatever with them.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then he did arrangements with Pure Prairie League.
Yeah,
he did all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ellen Foley's the one who's all over that Bat Out of Hell, right? She's doing like all those vocals. Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, she's the Let Me Sleep on It, or Do You Love Me Forever?
Yeah.
And that is a great, great album.
I love it. It's one of Glenn's favorites.
Not Ellen Foley or Bat Out of Hell?
Bat Out of Hell.
I hate Bat Out of Hell.
Yeah.
I love that album.
The Ellen Foley album was released in '79, I think, and it's very girl group inspired, but with a harder edge. It's great. It's awesome. And both, Mick Ronson and Ian Hunter play on it, obviously.
I thought she was kind of a blues-based. Wasn't she kind of bluesy, or Ellen Foley? No? Am I thinking of somebody else?
I think she can do bluesy stuff.
She got a little rasp.
Yeah, I think she can do it. I mean, she also has, like a Broadway career as well.
Oh, okay.
She's a very talented individual.
Here's a Black Flag guy on the list. Yeah, was Prince on the list? Yes, he was. He was pretty high up, I think.
14 or something, I think you said. Yeah, and you're right. Rob's right. He should be.
B.B. King could say more on one note than most on any list. That was my comment on my video, was that,
Yep. He did not play chords. He only played riffs.
He just needed, he could give you the emotion in one note that most people needed 10. Yeah, he was around 15. But it was a sham, Lou Reed speaking at the Hall of Fame. Lou Reed,
and I can believe that from Richard, because he's a fan of both.
Yeah.
Lou Reed and Zappa. Of course, we know Richard loves Zappa.
Anyone heard of a band called Sparks? Never heard of them. Transformer, Berlin, New York are great. I actually bought the Transformer album about, I'm going to say, 2 or 3 years ago. I found it new, really cheap. And I thought, everybody says this is a great album. And that was and I went, and I bought it, and I didn't like it at all.
I like Transformer. One of these days, I am going to have a perfect day. I'm going to go to the zoo and I've always said I'm going to do that, and I still have yet to do it.
Wow. So there we go. The Gunkles coming up. Velvet Reed led a lot of people starting their own bands the way the Ramones inspired people. Oh, Gene's with us. Hey, pal. REM were huge Velvet Underground fans. A ton of people were huge Velvet Underground fans. There's no doubt. I have to go. Dinner's on. Okay, go eat. Montague great cover Louis Sweet Jane. Yes, they do. And so does Rob, Canadian band.
Cowboy Junkies.
Cowboy Junkies.
Yeah. Fantastic version of Sweet Jane. Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
There's an echo in here.
Lou Reed called them to thank for covering 3 Velvet songs, and Michael Stipe was very Star Trek and told him to buy a house or something. He probably just bought drugs. I think Halloween will bring the freak out, like maybe the Thursday before Halloween. Okay, there we go. Everyone just logged on after CD shopping. Glenn should be proud. I got a used copy. Oh, yeah. Which did you get? That's very cool. One of my favorite bands. Is Yoko in any position to make decisions these days? I hear her health isn't
No idea.
good. I hear her health isn't good either. But
Isn't Sean making most of the decisions these days?
I mean, she's what, mid-80s?
90.
90?
Yeah,
I mean,
90. Yeah.
I can't imagine she's in any.
And she's moved out of the Dakota now, living like on the farm they bought back when John was alive in the 70s. Forgot to mention family. Roy, you always mention family.
and I'm always in the comments saying yes.
I've not listened to any of his stuff.
I still haven't either, but Roy never fails to put the family commercial in there. I agree not true about new music. The problem is running out of time to dig. Wait till you retire, you got nothing but time to dig. I think Sean is taking over now. Yeah, I think so too. Lou Reed was not a great guitar player. He was competent at best. Mind Games or Rubber Soul box set? Both.
Neither. I can't afford it.
Yeah, well, that's true.
I mean, why do you have to choose between?
Can't afford it.
We'll take them both. For people who can afford it, I'll take them both.
Yeah.
I can't afford them either. Us older folk yell at clouds because we knew something secret. Hotels. I've been watching channels hosted by 20-somethings who are so into old psych jazz and know more about records from that time than I do. It's great. Yeah, it is very cool when young people are open. Their ears are open. Bless you, Rob. What did you do, Rob?
Because I sneezed.
Rob, I can't believe you're still sick, or is this just another cold?
This is another one, as I mentioned further down in the comments. I got a 7-year-old, so he's bringing home the germs. So I was sick about a month and a half ago, and I'm sick again. So.
Thanks, John. Sick as a dog. Rob, you've been sick for like 2 months, it seems.
Me and Alex were on the same wavelength, apparently. Yes, exactly. That one's not on there too.
Mick Ronson arranged it and made it into a hit song. I didn't know he was associated with that song.
Yeah, he was the one who brought in the Let It Rock, Let It Roll.
Oh.
Yeah, they talk about that in the documentary.
Yes, I agree with a factor of some bloggers get more views when they're listening to older music. Yeah. Surprised, Glenn, you put Jerry Garcia so low on your list. Yeah, because it wasn't a list of my favorite guitar players, because he would have been in the top 3 probably, but I was trying to say who were the greatest, and I just thought, he made my list.
Didn't you guys do a favorite guitarist stream a couple months back?
Well, that was almost a year ago. It was almost a year ago now.
Yeah. Bad at Hell is one of the most listened to.
Come on, Jack.
There you go, Jack.
Come on, Jack.
I feel sorry for you.
I love it. It's so campy and over the top.
It's way too campy.
That's what makes it great.
That's what I love about it.
No. That's what I hate about it. That's why I can't do Sparks. I appreciate how talented they are, but it's just so campy. That's like I can only take it in small doses.
I love the camp.
Ellen Foley was on Night Court.
Yes, she was. She was Billy.
Covered Stone's Stupid Girl, and she sang on some Clash songs. Oh, wow. Very cool.
Yeah, she was She dated Mick Jones for quite a long time. So
I think
he's kind of,
Commonwealth, Newgrass Revival here. I think Commonwealth was their last album, and Doug Sam's great. You guys like him? Ever listen to Doug Sam?
I've not deep dived into him.
He's great. The Texas Tornadoes and Sir Douglas Quintet and his own solo stuff, man. Amazing. Mendocino, big hit. Streetwalkers, Chapman Whitney. Plea to all listen. What's that mean?
I'm intrigued.
I'm writing down Ellen Foley now too. Every week I seem to find stuff to check out.
That's when we can do on our first CD exchange, Glenn.
Okay, I won't listen then.
I want to jump in on this one, John, because you mentioned the Van Halen box set that you've been spinning too. Here's my thing. I'm not going to say I'm a huge Van Halen fan. I am a Van Halen fan, and one of the arguments that always gets me is the Van Halen with David Lee Roth versus Van Hagar with Sammy Hagar. And because you're really talking about two completely different eras and the way music changes. And so what's interesting, and it kind of goes into our conversation about guitarists, is when people say David Lee Roth is so much better than Sammy Hagar, what they're really saying is that they liked the band when he was in the band, and they liked the band less when he wasn't in the band. But in terms of who's a better performer, who's a better singer, who's a better musician, who's a better all-around person, I am a huge Sammy Hagar fan. And that guy's like in his mid-70s now and still killing it.
Yeah.
And when he joined the band, he was an overly successful solo artist. I mean, he came in with something like 7 or 8 albums under his belt and came in. And I think, yes, was there a poppier connotation to the music? Absolutely. But it was also 1985. And also the band was already going that way with 1984 anyway. And so I love Sammy Hagar. I'm a huge Sammy Hagar fan, and he's been a killer musician well before he was even in Van Halen. So I'm all in on Sammy. That's my.
I won't disagree with a word you said.
I think part of it too, right, is people tend to like that which came first. The thing you hear first tends to be what you like more. So as soon as the singer changes, like, it's not what it used to be, I don't like it. So I think he gets unfairly judged on that basis alone.
Have you seen David Lee Roth singing lately? It's so bad.
So I was in 7th grade when 1984 came out, and I was in 9th grade when 5150 came out. I loved them both. I was right at the right age to appreciate both of them. So it's impossible. I can sit there and say I love the David Lee Roth era, and I love the Sammy Hagar area up to a certain point. Mm-hmm. But I love both 5150 and 1984 equally. Like Hot Summer Nights is such a great underrated tune.
Beautiful.
And Summertimes in Michigan, we loved that song because everything in it fit.
And that's why you love that Kid Rock song, right?
No.
Oh.
Although it does make me homesick when I hear it. Well, I told you I dated a guy that sold cars at Kid Rock's dad's Cadillac dealership.
Kid Rock's dad had a Cadillac? You mean Kid Rock's not this poor kid from downtown Detroit? Oh my God.
No.
He's not straight out the trailer.
Oh my gosh.
Shocking.
Yeah, his dad had a Cadillac dealership, and I dated one of his salesmen. When Kid Rock was a big deal. I'm pretty sure that guy was married, though. Maybe not one of my better decisions.
Wait, so is he a used car salesman and he lied?
He wasn't a used car salesman.
A new car salesman.
Not that one is better than the other, but
you know how you can tell when a salesman's lying?
They open their mouth.
His lips are moving.
Hey, I represent that comment.
Me too.
My sister really liked him.
I think there may just not be enough in the vault for the Rubber Soul box set. They're going to do the same as they did with Revolver. They're going to do a remix, and they're going to do an ultimate mix, and then they're going to do whatever.
Yeah, it's not enough.
And then there's going to be a Blu-ray. It's going to be like a 4-disc set.
Diminishing returns on those, I'm afraid.
Yeah. They'll come up with enough.
How many damn mixes of the album do you need? That said, I'm
another great
enough to
live
buy it.
chat. You're a good host. Larry can learn a thing or two about hosting. Just
Thank
joking.
you.
Yeah, Larry, let me know if you want lessons.
Yeah.
Me and Glenn are the same. I can't stand Queen too. I don't like Queen.
I am not a fan.
No.
Ooh,
Again, too campy.
Love Queen.
They ride the line where it gets annoying for me.
Radiohead, I'm just really casual. I've never heard of My Bloody Valentine.
Richard, I'll say, I mean, and maybe this is what you're getting at with the shoegaze thing. Recently, I've been listening to the latest from Slow Dive, shoegaze, dream pop, whatever you want to call that sort of genre, which is not a genre I'm familiar with really at all. But I had a lot of recommendations on that and have been playing that a lot, and we're really getting into it. So,
have you ever listened to Galaxy 5000?
is that? Did you say Power Man 5000?
No, Galaxy 5000.
My comedy's hitting tonight. No, I have not.
I think you would. They're great, and they're American.
I'd never heard of them either. Sammy
you
Hagar sang lead on the first Montrose album. Yeah. I did not know that.
Oh yeah, that's Bad Motor Scooter.
Streetwalkers members were in family who supported The Who on a tour, and they often blew The Who off stage, according to some reviews of their shows at the time. Wow. Roy needs to write a book about music. I really like the first and third Sammy Hagar Van Halen albums. I came in with 1984, but I like both singers. I'm a Sammy Hagar guy myself. I believe that metal can mix with other generation a little bit. How did I get that one again?
So actually, it's Galaxy 500. I always get it confused with Mystery Science Theater 5000. So this one, they're out of Boston. You would like them.
Interesting.
Yeah, Kid Rock, he makes me vomit, to tell you the truth. For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge is an underrated Van Halen album. I agree they will have trouble making 2-vault CDs for Rubber Soul. There isn't an extra takes. They'll find enough to fill up a 4-disc set. You watch. I recently subbed you. You got a new fan there in John. Yes, I love Slow Dive. What band is Slow Dive?
It's a band, Slow Dive.
Yeah,
they're
in that shoegaze, dream poppy, very kind of ambient. It's a hard thing to describe, and I'm not with it enough to be able to do so.
So the reason it's called shoegaze is some journalist described it as shoegaze because the players were always looking down at the pedals. So shoe gazing, because it's just a lot of distortion.
Okay.
It's actually funny. And so Marcia, it's a great point because it went both ways. It was I think a lot of the journalists were looking at the way that the guitarist or the performers were always looking down with all their foot pedals. But then a lot of people associated shoegaze with how the audience would react and respond to the music by simply looking down and looking like sad. And so just
because it's like you don't really dance, but you just kind of bop and rock your shoulders back and forth. It's kind of like what I'm going to say isn't going to make any sense, so I won't say it. But you don't really dance to it. You just kind of do this and look morose, basically. But I like some My Bloody Valentine. Some of it I don't like.
First Traveling Wilburys album turned 35 yesterday. Wow,
Yeah.
Happy birthday. What a great record. That was one of the great things at the Dylan Museum, was seeing the correspondence from George to Bob about the album. He called it he's got the letters there, and it says the Wilbury Weekly, and he's telling Bob, that him and what's the guy from Yellow? Jeff Lynne.
Jeff Lynne.
Yeah.
Me and Jeff are mixing this. We got to add vocals to this yet, and you got to do this, and it's really cool.
So did he sign off with his Wilbury name?
He did. He signed off. He signed off weird every time he did it. One of the correspondence, he signed off as Fab One.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I've always heard he's got a good
George
sense
of England was another sign off, and there was some Wilbury thing he signed off of.
Yeah, I've always heard George has a good sense of humor.
Yeah. The Verb, Human Great Shoegaze album. I don't know that.
You know, it was up until about 3 years ago that I didn't know that the Verb and the Verb Pipe were two different bands.
The Verb Pipe is from Michigan. The Freshman. Ugh.
Hey, Glenn, I'm going to get going now.
Okay, Larry. Thanks for joining us.
I'll see you tomorrow.
We'll see you
Glenn.
tomorrow, 10 a.m., Larry.
Nice to see everybody. Thank
Nice
you.
to meet you, Larry.
Thanks, buddy.
Have a nice evening.
Yep.
See you, Larry.
Bye-bye.
There we go.
So
What
the
a blues.
Verb, they sang Bittersweet Symphony and they had a sample from the Rolling Stones on it.
Yeah.
And lost tons and tons of money. And Mick Jagger just recently released the rights to it about 6-9 months ago.
Yep.
It
Yeah,
was
that's a wild story.
A huge hit in the late 90s.
Jack has never listened to the Traveling Wilburys. Man, you have to listen to that album.
Jack, you're missing out, man.
A classic.
Oh, no, he says here he might have to give them another try.
Oh, another try. Oh, you really want to listen to Volume 2?
Don't listen to him, Jack. He's trying
Screw
to
it with you,
trip
Jack.
up.
It goes Volume 1 to Volume 3.
Glenn, I got a question for you.
Yes.
And it's the same question I'm going to have. I was in an email exchange with Steve from All the World's a Stage, and we were talking about the Harmony Codex and our thoughts on it and all the things. So, and this not just about Steve Wilson, but question for both Rob and Marcia. So you have an artist, you love an artist, you follow everything the artist does, and sometimes they're like these musical chameleons, right? Like they don't fit into one genre, they just do all this stuff. And basically what I'm getting at, Glenn, is I like the record. I've probably 6-ish spins on it. I'm having a hard time because there's no other music that I listen to that is anywhere near what this is. Like, it really is more of like an electronica type album, and I don't listen to any of that. I have nothing against it. It's just so interesting to me of like, I don't know how, like my rating of it, is it based on just like how much I want to go back to it? Is it based on, how it leaves me feeling? Like, I don't know. I'm just kind of sitting in that of like, how do I review this?
Wow.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Do you like the album?
I like it.
You don't love it?
I don't love it. That's
Do
not
you
to say that feelings cannot change and feelings
Okay.
cannot evolve.
So now this is not a partner, it's a record. So
You don't know. You don't know what
No.
goes on in that spindle hole.
I mean, it's a one-sided relationship if that's the case.
Just like all of mine. Okay.
I don't overthink it. If you like it, you like it. There's stuff that if it moves you for whatever reason, don't question why it does. Just go with it.
I'll tell you what I'm finding with that album is this. Every time I listen to it, I'm appreciating one of the tracks that I wouldn't say I didn't care for, because I do like the whole album, but there's songs that I like less than others. And now I'm starting to more gravitate to those. I'm starting to appreciate the ones that I didn't like that much at first. And the album, when I first heard the album, I thought it started off kind of okay. And then on that fourth track, it's called Impossible
Tightrope.
One of the great tracks ever. Like,
Well,
but I thought the album peaked at track 4 and then start to go like this. But then after a while, now I'm starting to go, no, it's pretty damn good to the end. I love the album.
Yeah. And we're talking, Rich, I saw you and James put it in there too. We're talking about the Harmony Codex by Stephen Wilson.
And the thing I like about it is all the tracks like are different. Like there's not any continuity really to the album, but it all kind of works, and it flows, but it shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, if you like it, you like it. I wouldn't worry about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel guilty about it. Like, I don't feel like I got to call somebody and let them know, but
You're not making a therapy appointment to discuss it further.
well, not for that, but if I can tack it on to other things, but yeah, well, and who knows? Like, I think in a perfect world, right? Like, Steve Wilson is the type of artist that we would listen to this type of record and say, this isn't something I would normally gravitate towards, but now do I have a new respect and appreciation for that type of music that I would look into something else. But yeah.
So are you looking for recommendations of other electronic music to see if it's something that you would be into?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. I mean, as far as I go, what's interesting, I think Steve Wilson has, to me, when I hear it, and this is a very uneducated type of thing, but just based on my experiences, I think he's in like that mid-career Radiohead phase. Like, I think he's in that Kid A type mode of away from sort of like the guitar and, musical instrument driven music. And like, he's getting his joy and artistic, whatever, out of sitting at a computer or sitting at a MIDI keyboard or doing something like that and experimenting with sounds. Which is great. Like, nothing wrong with that. It's just, I don't listen to anybody else that does that, really.
The thing is, though, sometimes you just like an artist and they're so brilliant, and who it is, that no matter what they do, it's gold.
Yeah, no, and he's one of those for me. Like, I would trust him.
Musical journey, right? They're just bands that are. I think we all probably have artists that not every album is the same, and it's I love that an artist has the ability to do that and take me places where I wouldn't normally go. I think that's amazing. I have not seen a copy of Bone Machine, although I can order it from Amazon now and get it in a couple of days, but I have not seen one in a record store yet, the new Tom Waits reissues. Although we did see one in Tulsa at a record store. With new music, you have to invest your time to listen to new music. It's not easy now as all the media we have access to. Yeah, I agree. That's perfect.
Agree.
Well said. Yes, Phil McCracken should have made the list. I would prefer to listen to Ryuichi Sakamoto when it comes to experimental electronic music than Stephen Wilson. Yeah. I think Stephen Wilson album combines Radiohead, King Crimson, and Pink Floyd. Yeah, I to a point. And a bit of pop music in there too.
Mm-hmm.
I lost my Sgt. Pepper box set in Mexico. Well, that sucks.
I will say, somebody made a comment earlier about any upcoming records that we're excited about. It finally got announced today or last night or in the middle of the night, but we finally have a formal release date for the physical copy of Peter Gabriel's new album, his first in 21 years, I.O. And I told some of y'all I had a chance to see Peter Gabriel live several weeks ago, and it was just absolutely outstanding. I mean, one of the best shows of my life. I was just enamored the entire time. Like, I was in awe. And he played damn near his entire new album. I mean, it was 11 songs from the new album, and every single one went over really well, which is a pretty rare thing today. And so a lot of the tracks had already been released because he was doing this really cool, call it campy, whatever. He would release a new song at every full moon. And so now that the full moon cycle has been complete, we finally get the physical, which is supposed to come out, I believe, the first week of December. But if you are at all a Peter Gabriel fan, I mean, these songs and his band is just so good. But the songs are really great, and I'm really looking forward to that.
I'm anxious to hear it too. What's the release date now?
First week of December for the physical stuff, but all of it is currently on like streaming. So,
see, how do you guys feel about that? Seems to be the new style now for releasing albums. They got a date, like 2 months down the road, like Steven Wilson did it. There's a few artists that do it. I think the Stones are doing it. All of a sudden, there's one of the tracks shows up on YouTube, and then another shows up on YouTube. I hate that.
I hate it.
Me too.
I
don't have an opinion one way.
I ignore it. I actually ignore it. I want to hear the album.
Case in point, one of my favorite artists, Grace Potter, she dropped an album back in August, and she released 4 songs. There's only like 11 songs on the album. 4 of them were released digitally before the full album release, and I ignore them because I'm like, I don't want to know 4 songs going into this album. I want to take the album, put it on the turntable, and hear it for the first time as the artist intended. I don't want to hear 4 random songs from the album.
It's kind of like a blockbuster movie coming out, and you can go on YouTube and watch the middle sections of the movie. It
would be like the trailer of Empire Strikes Back, and Darth Vader goes, "Luke, I'm your father."
Yeah.
Why am I going to watch the movie now?
Yeah.
So is that any different than when 30 years ago they would release a new single prior to the album release a month before?
One song, I get one song, like the Stones did that song "Angry" or whatever. I listened to that because I didn't think they were going to release 3 songs off it before it came out. Or I think they're releasing too much. Like, I agree with a single.
I think a lot of it too, and Richard just alluded to what I was going to say too, is I think specifically for vinyl, and we are in the vinyl resurgence, is the backup times are out of control. So the idea of, I'm going to release a record in a year and we're going to have physical copies ready to ship, I don't think that's a reality. I think for a lot of these records, they're all done. The sound is all done, and they're sitting in a digital library somewhere. Mm-hmm. And then they're probably trying to strategize, when do we release this versus when do we kind of do these singles? To Rob's point, though, I agree. I mean, I think probably for us too, as collectors, more, I would say, music fans that don't listen to the radio as much, like, we listen to albums, and typically the singles that are released going back years are not reflective of the album and the album experience. I mean, some of my least favorite songs from artists are the ones that are the singles, because they're not, what we sort of would want out of the album listening experience.
But in the 60s, I mean, kudos to the Beatles and the Stones and bands like that they would release singles and those songs wouldn't even be on the albums that came out.
Yeah.
Which was great.
I don't listen to a ton of new music, so I guess that's why I don't really have an opinion about it, because I usually don't find, I'm always, a good 18 months behind. That's when I'll discover something, when it's been out for like 18 months.
Wow. Let me get caught up here. There aren't enough pressing plants to keep up with the number of new releases, and you can blame Taylor Swift for a lot of that. LOL. Yeah, well, hey.
Or you could blame her for being part of the reason vinyl is popular.
Yeah.
Same with Adele, same with the Rolling Stones pressing 26 variants of their new album.
Yeah.
Oh, with all the different sports
baseball teams, yeah.
But didn't you guys say that you can't get that in Canada?
I don't know. It'll be here, but
no, that there isn't a Blue Jays.
Oh, there is.
Oh, there is. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And Rob, I am still waiting. I do fully intend on returning the favor and sending you the Target version of
You're the man.
Version.
Awesome. Appreciate that. I got your Dirty Honey right here, so it's going out tomorrow.
I love it when you talk Dirty Honey.
Oh, they're going to be in Orlando.
Dirty Honey?
Yeah, I saw a poster for them at Park Avenue today.
Should go.
This is your copy, my friend.
What band is that?
Dirty Honey.
Yeah, they're good.
Oh, they're great.
You're right.
They're
Now I
great.
got to write down another name.
I'd mentioned it a few weeks ago that I had got that, and that one has a seam split and it has a couple scuffs on the vinyl. It plays fine. And I had emailed the band's store saying, "Hey, I got this, and there's some seam splits and some scuffs on it." And they sent me a brand new one. And Alex goes, "Well, I'll take this one." So I'm sending it to him because I don't need two of them. It plays perfectly fine.
And I have the record. I love the record, but shoot, if I can get a signed one.
Yeah.
They're due for a new album this year, aren't they?
I hope so.
Yeah, I think I saw it's in the works or something. So
I hope so.
They are playing Friday, October 27th at the Beecham.
Probably a small club.
6 p.m. I've been to the Beecham. I toured it for a potential Christmas party venue, and it's not a place you want to go with the lights on. Let me tell you.
Oh, really? It's yeah.
You know, the floor's sticky, everything's dusty.
It's a great club.
You got to
Sounds like a
puke
few
twice
places
and
I
throw
used
a
to hang
knife
out
with
at.
it in.
Sounds like a great place for a rock and roll show.
And it says they're there with Austin Mead.
Don't know him.
It starts at 6 p.m. It's on a Friday. Maybe I'll go after work, but if it's a standing room crowd, I probably won't because I just can't do that after a whole day of work anymore.
Glenn,
Is
could you go back to the
aware
music?
of this question here for the panel? Anyone on the panel ordering any of the Atlantic 75th title releases?
So I'll say, and this is the way I view a lot of high-end audiophile reissues, whether it's MoFi, whether it's the analog production stuff, or whether it's the new 75th stuff, is I'm very, very selective with what they are. And a lot of that comes down to, for me personally, is how accessible is an original copy and how cheap is an original copy, and does it sound like trash? And if it doesn't, like I don't like the most popular ones, and because he's so popular, are the Phil Collins ones right now. People are dropping $60 on these double 45 RPM Phil Collins records, which is great. And also, just me personally, where I'm at, like I can walk into any record store and buy one for $5. So I don't have a personal need to. Now, there are some records that finding clean originals is very, very difficult, and they're very, very expensive. And so when that's the case, I'm more likely to invest in one of these newer audiophile bougie things, simply because it's going to be easier and probably sound better just to buy one of those versus getting an original. So that's the long answer. So basically, it's a lot of the jazz stuff. A lot of the stuff as part of the Atlantic 75th series that Acoustic Sounds is doing, a fair amount of the jazz stuff, if it hasn't been already done in other.
So it's
in
not
other
soul
presses.
records, and it's not the old soul records and stuff like that.
No, because there was actually some. I think it might have been Mazzy who was bringing it up. Like a lot of people were wondering where's the Aretha? Like we deserve all this stuff, and I think there is
And
some
Led
issues with the
Zeppelin.
estate there and all that kind of stuff. Led Zeppelin would be the huge one, right?
Yeah, I was on their website the other day because Sam was talking about some sale records that he got. So I went over there and I did see where their top seller right now is the Phil Collins overall on the entire website.
What Phil like Face Value or something, or what
I
album?
think it is Face Value.
Yeah,
That's
no
the
jacket
one.
required. It's like second or third.
Yeah, wow. Phil's making a comeback. Who knew?
I have no problem with Phil Collins. I think he's great, but I'm going to pay $5 for Phil Collins records. I'm not going to
that should
do
be pretty
anything
common
more
stuff.
than that.
Yeah, I really have a hard time spending a lot of money on a record like MoFi, and especially I hate 45 RPM records. Absolutely will not buy it.
Yeah,
It could be the greatest record ever made, and I'm just dying to have it. But as soon as I see 45 RPM, I'm out.
Well, I only have one because it's such a pain in the ass to get up and flip
It's
after.
a pain in the ass, and it ruins the continuity of the record, even if you don't mind getting up.
But I only did it once.
Here's what I'm going to send to you: is they're doing The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway as part of this. Now, I know you love that
favorite records of all time.
One of your most favorite records of all time.
No, least favorite.
I know y'all got to read into my sarcasm a little bit better here. And it's a double, and it's going to be cut at 45. So it's going to be a 4 LP Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. All of Marsha, what was it? The Peter Gabriel and 12-minute penis costume things. Yeah, your whole thing.
I mean, I guess you'll get your steps in if you put it on.
That record has a flow to it. That record.
I mean, especially all these concept records. Absolutely,
you're ruining the flow of that record.
And how much does it cost individual, or the whole subscription is $1,500?
Oh, the whole subscription is buku. It's like in the 3,000 to 4,000.
3,000 to 4,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
But each record is 60, and then I'm going to guess the doubles are going to be 75 or 100.
Good
Lord.
No,
I can't do it.
I'm with you, Richard. I have my original, and the originals are. I mean, they're not cheap records. Like to find an original Lamb Lies Down on Broadway is not a cheap record.
Yeah. So, Rob, the Dirty Honey tickets are $58 because all they're being sold by resellers. So they're
you gotta go. You gotta go.
For $58 for standing room?
I'd do it.
Oh, is that what it
I
is?
really,
You can't sit?
I would do it because they don't come here. So if they did
Yeah.
come here, I would pay that.
$58 for standing room only. And I'd be going by myself. So
I'm not going to see anything where I have to stand for 3 hours.
thank you, Glenn. I am at that point in my life too.
Yeah.
So when I saw Beck 2 weeks ago, I was in the back row at Dr. Phillips. Fuck those steps, let me tell you. That is not happening again.
A lot of times with these, like there's a place in Oshawa, Ontario where I go see like bands like the Lowest of the Low, and that my favorite Canadian band, and it's mostly it's a standing place. But I phoned and said, hey, my wife has a wonky knee, and they have the odd table sitting up at the back, and they reserved it for us. So try phoning them and just saying, I got a bad knee. Is there anywhere you can sit me? Like, it works.
I'll do. Can I just call and say I'm a middle-aged lady who's worked all day on Friday?
No, they won't care about
all
that.
week. I can't be
Oh, no,
expected
no.
to stay.
It's like, Glenn, your story, that's such like a George Costanza type of thing.
Yeah, pretty much, eh?
It's like
Lynn
the human
is a very
fund.
nice lady,
Yeah.
and she deserves to have a seat.
Yeah. Richard, I had Blonde on Blonde, my second favorite album of all time, on 45 RPM, and I sold it. Like, I bought it for $200 and took it back and said, how much will you give me for this? Because I cannot get up every 2 songs. And I put on my Blonde on Blonde from the original mono box. So, I mean, verse 1 was stereo, 1 was mono, but I don't care. And it sounded almost as good. And I thought, there's no reason that this is a $200 record and to have to get up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't do it.
So how do they do side 4?
Well,
Blonde.
it's already a side, right? It's already a side.
So do they break it up on 2?
It was
no, Sad Eyed is still
it's still
on
just
one
just
side.
one on one disc.
Yeah,
Okay.
it still takes up one side. Oh, that would be brutal if they broke it up. Imagine
That's
breaking
why I'm wondering how do they do it if it's just 2 songs. So
I wish Bob would come to Missouri. He just play in Kansas City the other night? He was there.
think that's from
week ago.
St. Louis, right?
I think he was in Kansas City a week ago. The show I'm going to tomorrow night, I'll be standing, but I should be okay.
What show is that?
I bought my Blonde and Blonde at release, $75. That's a pretty good deal. I still didn't feel for many concerts in Europe when I lived in Germany in the 80s and 90s. Yeah, I can't do that.
And I could stand in my 20s and in my 30s.
Yeah.
But once I hit my 40s, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to standing room only shows anymore.
No, I'm not doing that. No.
It is tough though, because we were talking earlier about how we don't want to do like arena shows or stadium shows anymore, and it's like the smaller places. But it's like so many of those smaller places now are standing room only.
Yeah.
And so
Well, I can be. I'm also somebody who doesn't really want to see a show during the middle of the week anymore either. So Depeche Mode was here last Wednesday, and I would have loved to have seen them, but they were at an arena, and it was on a Wednesday night, and I was like, no, 2 strikes.
Yeah.
So I love to see shows at like Dr. Phillips.
Yeah.
Great.
That's a great venue.
I'll go to Hard Rock at Universal, which is kind of a pain to have to walk through Universal and all that to get to it, but that's a good place to see it. But House of Blues, I won't go there anymore. They have a little bit of seating there, but you have to fight for it. It's like first come, first serve.
Yeah.
So
there's a place in Toronto called the Phoenix, and it's a stand-up place. You ever been to the Phoenix, Rob?
I have.
Downtown in the seedy part of Toronto on Sherburne Street. Actually, I used to live up the street from it. But
all of downtown seedy. Who are you kidding?
Yeah. So anyway, I went to see a band called String Cheese Incident. I don't know if you guys ever heard of them.
Oh, I've heard of them, but I'm not familiar with their catalog, but I do know the name.
My daughter's boyfriend at the time, he was a big music buff. And I said, you got to come see these guys. So we go up, and you go up on the balcony. And we were there early, and you go on the balcony. It's all standing too. But I noticed against the wall, there were these 2 really comfortable leather chairs sitting at the back of the wall. And so I said, let's pull the chairs up to the front of the balcony. So we pulled these 2 chairs up, and then all of a sudden the place is full, getting ready for the show to start. And the manager comes over and starts saying, hey, what are those chairs doing here? We're going, I don't know. We just played dumb and said, well, they were here. We just sat in them. And he's going, well, you're going to have to move them. And I turn around. There's like 400 people behind us. You couldn't move these chairs if you wanted to. And I'm going, well, really, buddy? You're going to move these chairs? And he kind of just walked away shaking his head. So he let us sit. These really comfortable leather chairs at the start part of the balcony all night long.
Nice.
So whenever we wanted to go for a beer, one of us would watch the chairs and the other guy would go for the beer. So there's always a way. I'm going to see Subsonic Eye. They're from Singapore. Dream Pop Math. Okay. A Dream Pop Math rock band. What's a math? What's math got to do?
You can read my comment. Read my comment next there, Glenn.
I thought math rock meant frog.
I dropped math in grade 10, so I don't know if I'd be allowed to go.
Isn't math rock usually equated to prog rock?
Oh, I thought you maybe had to go 1, 2, 3, 4. You had to count in the songs or something. I don't know. You can't even sit in your paid seat at bowl concerts here at Rogers Place from start to finish. Everyone stands nowadays. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. We used to, my buddies and I would go to concerts and we never get up and dance. Listen to the music, and the people in front of us would get up and there'd be like 4 of us and we'd all be going, hey, you paid for your seat, use it. Slint and Don Cap and the Japanese band Toe are all math rock. I don't even know what he's going on about.
So Slint is a band from the early 90s.
Abrupt time changes. Okay.
Yeah, prog rock.
Prog kind of. Okay, that makes sense. Don Caballero.
I don't know Don Caballero.
Me neither.
But I know Slint.
Huh. Weird. Wow. So we got 5 minutes. Anybody got anything they want to say before we wrap up? Anybody doing anything? Marcia.
Yes.
Marcia was, I don't know how you're not making videos because you don't put a lot of content out there. And here's one for you.
I don't.
I would be very excited about. When we were on the live chat on Sunday, Marcia mentioned that she has that book, 1001 Albums You Need to Hear Before You Die. And she's doing the journey of listening to the albums. I think you should do a video diary on what you've, like, obviously you're so many albums into it, you're not going to start from scratch, but you could do a kind of a brief thing and then keep everybody updated on what you're listening to, what you like, what you don't like. I think that would make
I'll tell you what I listened to today. I listened to La Tigra, the self-titled. I listened to Follow the Leader by Korn. Jesus Christ.
Oh, I don't know if I can do that. There'd be a few I would have to skip.
So I'm listening. Alex is just about ready to die. So here's the thing, Alex. First couple of songs like Freak on a Leash and all that, I'm like, God, this is a good album. And then it got homophobic real fast. And then it got misogynistic. And I was like, God damn, I can't believe how terrible this turned into. And then I remembered I went and saw them in concert in the early 2000s, and I enjoyed the hell out of myself at that concert. And then when I got home, I realized I own that fucking CD. I gave those. I think Jonathan Davis has walked back a lot of that stuff, but he's got this lyric in there. I'll never fall in love with the C word again. Take 2 looks at me and I'll fuck you. Like incel.
Martha's like, I just loved it when you all sang about freaks on leashes so much more. And now you're out here singing about all this stuff. Go back to the freaks on the leashes.
Oh my God, you guys.
And then I listened to Husker Du today, which I listened to which one was that? Warehouse Songs and Stories, and I don't care for that. That album is long and it all sounds kind of the same to me. And then yesterday I listened to, I'm going through my history. Aren't you guys glad you said something? I
don't know. You need to be making videos about this. I think people would be interested.
it's hard for me to get ready to make videos. I come home from work and I'm usually home by 6, and then I have dinner, and then I clean up, and next thing you know, it's like 8 o'clock and I'm going to be headed to bed in not too long. So, I mean, you could say I'm probably just over.
Jack wants to know what year, what version of the book you have.
2005. So it's the original. Yeah, it's the original one. And then yesterday I listened to Supergrass, I Shikoko, which is a really good album. Anthrax, Among the Living. I like that album a lot. I listened to Disintegration by The Cure.
Good.
You know, my problem with Disintegration is I hate all the singles, but everything else is great.
Roy says the book is online. No.
Oh, there's all kinds of different websites and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So I picked it up maybe like 6 months ago at the local library just to bring it home and look at it. I've never looked at it before. Now you've motivated me to go back, and I'm going to go to the library tomorrow. Actually, I'm going to go. Hopefully it's there. I'm going to grab it because I want to go through it and say, how many of these albums do I own? How many do I not care about?
Right.
How many am I interested in hearing? And I just want to do a whole analysis of it, comparing it to my likes and dislikes in my collection.
And you should compare it to the Rolling Stones list.
So they don't rank them. They just say from 1991,
which is probably the way to do it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like if I were to, rankings like 1 through 10 or whatever are hard, but if you say give me, because there's a video out by Capo Fetish right now where he ranks his 20 favorite Neil Young songs. It would be impossible for me to rank them, but I could give you probably 20 of them. Mm-hmm. But he actually does like 19, 18, 17.
I like the ranking. I like ranking. So, it's hard, but I like doing it.
But yeah, I mean, it's a good, like I said, I have a lot of quiet time at work, so I just listen. I stream these at work. I've been real motivated this week to listen to a lot of them too, since we had talked about it on Sunday. Because I'll go a couple of weeks without listening to them.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Great idea.
Very so cool. I'm right around 7:25, 7:30. So maybe if I really kick it into gear, I can get 100.
Yeah, I might still be alive when you're finished.
Well, I have to, get together and like plan out my next video. I need to do a new vinyl finds video showing what I got at the record fair with you, Glenn, and the store after.
Yeah, you're a little behind.
2 months behind.
Well, okay, so I'm going to send you an email so we can figure out this CD, this music exchange.
Okay. Trevor says, but is that Husker Du boring like Presents?
Yeah.
No, Trevor, that album is not as long, or Presents is actually shorter. And I liked the Husker Du. I didn't think it was terrible, but I had a hard time differentiating one song from the next. They kind of all just tempo-wise felt the same. And it's an hour and 7 minutes long.
Wow, very cool. Well, thanks everyone for coming on tonight. Alex, Marcia,
thanks for inviting me on. I appreciate it.
It was a pleasure. Thanks, buddy. I hope you're feeling better.
Feel better.
I'm on the mend, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, good. Rob, get some rest and some, chicken soup and some peppermint tea and feel better.
Thanks everyone for playing along with us and chatting, and special thanks to Richard and Calvin Wazouf. Check out his channel. Jack, Roy, you're always love your comments, and Trevor, and
check out today's installment of the Vinyl Community Podcast. By the way, I did the episode.
Oh yeah, I saw the thumbnail today
with our good friend Jason Arsenault.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't watched your video yet. I saw that it was on. I pulled it up, then I got called away, and then I have to check that out.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Good night,
okay,
Trevor.
everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.